Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving a full tutorial on how to make this semi-circle beaded bag. If it's something you are interested in, then keep on watching. For today's tutorial, we are going to be needing this particular bead, the sugar bead in size 10, our fishing line in 0.7mm, and our cutter. Let's get right into it. So now we are going to get our fishing line in our desired length. Then we'll pick up 6 beads, pass it through one side of the fishing line. And then we are going to cross with the 6th bead. Make sure your fishing line is equal and pull your work firmly. Up next, we are going to pick up 5 beads. Pass it on the fishing line on your left side. And then cross with the 5th bead. So we are going to pick the fishing line on our right hand and pass it through this next bead. Pick up 4 beads and pass it into the fishing line on the left side. Then we are going to cross with the 4th bead. Pick up the fishing line on the right side, pass it through the next bead. And then we are going to pick up 4 beads again and pass it into the fishing line on our left side. Cross with the 4th bead. This is what your work should be looking like. Pick up the fishing line on the right side, pass it through the next bead again. We are forming a ring of 6 beads. So we are going to pick up 4 beads and pass it through the fishing line on the left side. Then cross with the 4th bead. So now we are going to pick our fishing line on the right and pass it through the next bead. We are going to pick up 4 beads and pass it through the fishing line on the right side. And then cross with the 4th bead. So now we are ending this particular row. So we are going to pass this fishing line into the next 2 beads to close that row. And then pick up just 3 beads. And we are going to cross with the 3rd bead. So this is what the first row should look like. So moving on to the next row, you pick up the fishing line on the right, pass it through the next bead, and then pick up 4 beads, pass it into the fishing line on the left side, cross with the 4th bead, pick up the fishing line facing down, pass it through the next bead, and then pick up 3 beads, pass it into the fishing line facing up, cross with the 3rd bead. So basically in this row we are going to be making rings of 6 beads and 5 beads. We'll be making a ring of 6 and then 5, then 6 and 5 continuously. So let's continue. You pick up the fishing line down, pass it into the next 2 beads, and then pick up 3 beads, pass it into the fishing line facing up, and cross with the 3rd bead. Pick up the fishing line facing down, pass it into the next bead. Remember, we are making rings of 6 and 5. We've done 6 now, we are moving on to 5. So we are going to pass 3 beads into the fishing line facing up. Pass with the 3rd bead. Pick up the fishing line facing down, pass it into the next 2 beads. Pick up 3 beads and pass it into the fishing line facing up. Then cross with the 3rd bead. Pick up the fishing line facing down, pass it into the next bead. We've done 6 rings, now we are moving on to the ring of 5 beads. So you pass just into 1 bead and cross with 3 beads to form a ring of 5. We are going to continue this process up until we finish this particular row. So here we are now at the end of this row. To move on to the next row, we are going to pass on to the next 2 beads. And then pick up just 2 beads, pass into the fishing line on your left hand and cross with the 2nd bead. So now this row is complete and we have a full circle. So moving on to the next row, we are going to pick up 3 beads, pass it into the fishing line on your left hand and cross to the 3rd bead. So in this row we are going to be making rings of 4 beads until we have just 5 beads left. Let's continue. Pick up the fishing line down, pass it into the next bead and cross with 2 beads. Pick up the fishing line down, pass it into the next bead. Pick up 2 beads. Pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross with the 2nd bead. Pick up the fishing line down, pass it into the next bead. We are just going to continue this same process all over until we have 5 beads left in the former row. Pick up 2 beads, pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross with the second bead. So we are just going to continue this process over and over again until we have 5 beads left. Remember, 5 beads left. So let's continue. So yeah, we are now on the last bead. We have 5 beads left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the last bead we are making. So to go to the next row, you pick the fishing line on your right hand, pick up 2 beads and cross with the second bead. So yeah, we are going to start a new row. To start the new row, you are going to skip this first bead and move on to the next bead. So we are just going to maneuver our fishing line up until we reach this second bead. So yeah, our fishing line is now inside the bead we want in the second bead. You pick up the fishing line on the left side, pick up 4 beads and pass it into the fishing line and cross with the 4th bead. In this row, we are making rings of 5 beads. Pick up your fishing line facing down, pass it into the next bead and pick up 3 beads. Pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross with the 3rd bead. Pick up your fishing line facing down, pass it into the next bead, pick up 3 beads, pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross with the 3rd bead. Remember, in this row we are making a ring of 5 beads, so we are going to continue this process until we reach the second to the last bead. Remember, we are going to skip the first bead, so we'll continue this process until we get to the second to the last bead in our previous row. So now we are on the bead, on the second to the last bead. To go to the next row, we are going to pick the fishing line on our right side, pick up 3 beads, pass it into the fishing line and cross with the 3rd bead. So yeah, we are now on a new row. To start this new row, you pick up your fishing line on the right side, pass it into the next bead. So now our fishing line is inside 2 beads. You pick up the fishing line facing up pass 4 beads into it and cross with the 4th bead. In this row, we are making ring of 6 beads. So we'll be passing our fishing line into the next 2 beads. And then pick up 3 beads, pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross through the 3rd bead. We are going to repeat the same process. Pick the fishing line facing down, pass it into the next 2 beads. And then pick up 3 beads. Pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross with the 3rd bead. Pick up the fishing line facing down, pass it into the next 2 beads. Pick up 3 beads, pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross with the 3rd bead. So we are just going to continue this same process, making a ring of 6 beads in this row until the very last bead in our previous row. So let's continue. So yeah, to move on to the next row, you pass our fishing line into the last 2 beads. Pick up 3 beads and pass it into the fishing line on our right hand. And then we are going to cross with the 3rd bead. So we are now on our new row. To start this row, you pick up 3 beads, pass it into the fishing line on the left side and cross with the 3rd bead. In this row, we are going to be making a ring of 4 beads. You pick the fishing line down, pass it into the next bead. Pick up 2 beads, pass it into the fishing line on the left side and cross with the 2nd bead. Pick up the fishing line on the right side, pass it into the next bead. Pick up 2 beads, pass it into the fishing line on the left side and cross with the 2nd bead. We are just going to continue this process. Remember, we are making rings of 4 beads in this particular row. So we are going to continue up until the very last bead in the previous row. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so now the front and the back of our bag is ready. So we are going to join these two semicircles to form our bag. We are just going to get our fishing line, cut it into the desired length of your choice. Pick up one of the semicircle bag and pass it into the first bead. Make sure your fishing line is equal. Pick up 3 beads, pass it into the fishing line on the left side. Cross with the 3rd bead. Pick the fishing line facing down, pass it into the next bead. Pick up 2 beads and pass it into the fishing line facing up. Make sure you pull your work firmly. So pick the fishing line facing down, pass it into the next bead. Pick up 2 beads, pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross with the 2nd bead. Pick the fishing line facing down, pass it into the next bead. Pick up 2 beads and pass it into our fishing line facing up. Cross with the 2nd bead. So now we are going to repeat this process by making a ring of 4 beads onto the last bead in this row. So now we are on the last bead. To move on to the next row, you pick the fishing line on the right side, pick up 2 beads and pass it into the fishing line, cross with the 2nd bead. So now we are on the new row. To start the new row, you pick the fishing line on the left side, pick up 3 beads and cross with the 3rd bead. Pick up the fishing line down, pass it into the next bead. Pick up 2 beads, pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross with the 2nd bead. Pick up the fishing line facing down, pass it into the next bead. Pick up 2 beads, pass it into the fishing line facing up and cross with the 2nd bead. We are also going to repeat this process in this row until the very last bead. So now we are on the very last bead in the row. If you want your side to be bigger, just repeat the same process over and over until you reach the desired length you want. But for this particular video, this is the length I want for my side. So to continue, I'm going to pick up 1 bead, pass it into the fishing line facing down, pick up my other semicircle, pass the same fishing line into the very first bead. pick up one bead and cross with that bead. So you pull your work firmly. To continue, you pick up the fishing line on the left side, pass it into the next bead on the left side. Watch the video carefully. And you pick the fishing line on the right side, pass it into the next bead on the right side. Just watch the video. So we are going to pick one bead and cross with that bead. Again, we are going to pick the fishing line on the left side, pass it into the next bead on the left side, pick the fishing line on the right side, pass it into the next bead on the right side, and cross with just one bead. So we are going to repeat this process until we've joined the two sides together until the very last bead. Just watch the video carefully. So now our joining is complete, and this is what our bag should be looking like at this moment. To continue, we are going to make our handle. So it's time to join our handle to the bag. If you need a tutorial on how I made this handle, I'm going to be dropping a link in the description below, so just check it out. So let's get right into it. You are going to be picking one side of the fishing line, pick up one bead and pass it into that fishing line. Go to the side of your bag. That same fishing line we passed the bead into, we are going to pass it into the middle of the side of our bag. That's the second bead. Pick up the other side of the fishing line, pass one bead and cross with that bead. So you pick up the fishing line up, pass it into the next bead on the handle. Pick up the other fishing line, pass one bead into it. Pick up another bead and pass both ends of the fishing line with the bead. Pick up the fishing line facing up, pass it into the next bead on the handle. Pick up the fishing line on the other side, pass one bead into it. Pick another bead and pass both ends of the fishing line with the bead. So now we are going to pick the fishing line up and pass it into the next two beads on the handle. Pick just one bead and we are going to end the joining with this bead. So we are just going to make a knot. We are also going to repeat the same process on the other side of the handle. And that's it. Our bag is ready. So yeah, we have come to the end of this tutorial today. So if you found this tutorial useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in my next video. Bye guys.